Most people seem to think, and it's a natural thought actually, to think that you need to act a certain way in your reality with your specific person to get them to chase you, to get them to take the lead and take action. But actually the opposite works. So if you are struggling with taking action and wondering, how do I get my SP to chase me? There's one fix that I'm really going to get into in this video and delve into how you guys can turn things around. Welcome to today's video. We are talking about your specific person and you in the 3D reality, your interactions or lack thereof so far with your specific person, how to get them to initiate, to chase you, to pursue you, and essentially that ties into them valuing you. So that's what today's video is going to be all about. Do stay tuned to hear all the different parts of this advice that feed into getting your SP to chase you. And if you're new here, I'd very much appreciate if you click the subscribe button. If you start watching this video and enjoy, of course, I have lots of videos relating to this and much more on the SP topic coming up in the future. If you want to take one step further as well, beyond just subscribing and liking, which I'd very much appreciate, always, you guys can leave comments as well. I love responding and reading to those within the first day or so. So do, leave a comment if you have some feedback or things you want to share about your own manifesting journey. And you can also become a member, LOA Coaching Darling. Everything is on screen. All the buttons and extra info is linked right below the screen that you're watching. So take a look if you're interested. And now let's jump into this topic. So checking for proof, checking your 3D reality, trying to get validation, that's the worst habit and the most natural habit. If you're emotionally tied, especially from having perhaps a past relationship with your SP or just a lot of emotional significance in this manifestation, then it's normal to want that validation or check for updates, check for proof, even if what you would normally do outside of manifesting and just maybe it's a bad habit in life or something you might just typically do, looking at their stories, looking at their social media activity, trying to look for updates where you might be able to see them. These kind of habits are not going to benefit you, especially in the manifestation realm, because you're giving your power externally and trying to check for proof is kind of unconsciously affirming that you don't have it yet, that unconsciously affirming the lack, that it's not here yet, and again, giving away your power. Instead of saying my affirmations and my manifestation practices work and are going to bring in what I want, this end result, what I focus on, you're saying, well, let me look. What does it look like in the 3D? What does it look like in the 3D? But then you go back and understand, and maybe in my content as well, hear me repeat that the 3D doesn't matter. You're creating a contrast there. Which is it? Which is your dominant state? Which thoughts are your dominant thoughts? Are you looking and waiting for proof and evidence? Or are you having the power and the control at the center of your personal reality and knowing that the 3D is irrelevant because if it doesn't reflect what you focus on, it still is conforming. So it's kind of like a mini thought, a micro thought that is delaying your end result from coming in. It's delaying the shift in your specific person and repeating again to yourself that you don't have it yet, because you're essentially telling yourself, it's not mine yet. It's not here. This isn't part of my reality. So your reality has to reflect that if it is a dominant state, which I'm not saying everyone is in that dominant state. But if you haven't seen it yet in your 3D reality, don't look for it. Don't chase after your SP. Don't initiate if it doesn't feel natural in the moment. That's something I go into with my clients as well, if it comes up, because that can, cause some potential issues or delays. But essentially, you don't want to keep repeating to yourself through your actions, like literally physically checking on social media, for example, and therefore telling yourself, I don't have the results, so I'm going out to look for it. When you stop checking and you stop those habits and you just assume and make your assumptions from the end result, you just assume that whatever the end result is what you're experiencing now, and that's what you keep telling yourself. You're coming from that state of certainty and not a mental state of lack. So obviously we all start in lack because we don't physically have the end result that we're consciously manifesting, obviously, because that's why we're applying manifestation. But you're creating that dominant state of, I already have it. I know it's mine. I know it's on the way to me. I know that the 3D is conforming. Everything's coming together right now as it's meant to, by making those assumptions, by literally, and we know that assumptions are created through repetition. So literally repeating to yourself your affirmations. What is the end result that you want to create? That's what's here right now. That's what's here right now. That's what's here right now. And by not feeding into those habits or the way you might have used to your old thought patterns, you're creating that state of certainty instead of feeding into the state of lack that led to this. When you start doing that and you start applying consistency with that and at least some form of repetition, that is when they start to really shift. Your specific person will feel that shift, not in a literal sense. It might just be in signs and synchronicities, obviously conforming as well, but like it might literally be like, dreams or seeing your name or something like that. I've experienced this to do with specific people, and usually if I'm manifesting something with someone, but something will remind me, oh, my manifestation is on its way, but it will be actual movement behind the scenes for them. It's an internal shift for them. It does all start internally for you, but it's also the internal shift that they experience. So like I said, it could be signs and synchronicities, and then tied into them literally feeling whatever needs to come in, falling in love with you, wanting commitment, wanting a relationship, wanting to reach out to you. Maybe they miss you, all these things. Of course, it's always possible. So always remind yourself, at the very least, if the least you can do as a positive approach is to just tell yourself, you know what, this is possible. It's not impossible. I can have this relationship. I can have this specific person, and everything for you and for them does start internally first. So replace that habit of checking the 3D, the bad habits of, checking up on them and coming from an anxious state, for example, with affirming. So it's kind of just applying a mental diet to really simplify it, I guess. So looping your affirmations, repeating that and saying, no, okay, it's the afternoon, or, oh, I have free time, oh, they just came to mind. Let me do my affirmations. Trying to build up some habits and routines to do with this. Replacing anything to do with trying to check up on them and essentially chasing them by trying to, not through initiation necessarily, but you're literally running behind them. They're living their life and you're running behind them, but you're also applying conscious manifestation. So which is it? Do you want to initiate? Do you want to just take action? Or do you want to use your mindset to literally bring in the end result? So kind of just assume that they're already chasing you. Obviously, that's the best approach. Just tell yourself. The assumption builds into a full belief and it becomes believable, but you work to create that assumption through the repetition. So they just can't stop texting me. They're so obsessed with me. They love me so much. Oh my gosh, I'm always the first thing on their mind. They're texting me right now. All these different kind of thoughts. These are examples and ways in which you shift that assumption. You shift that habit that you might have built up. So just feeding into this assumption and thought that you learn to repeat to yourself. They're chasing me. I know they're chasing me. Yes, it sounds delulu, but they're chasing me. And the moment you start doing this and, you let go of those old habits, or you realize, okay, this was where my mental diet was lagging, and, this is what I need to replace, and I'm no longer going to do this, and these are the thoughts, and, not feeding into that anymore, it's going to feel like a state of panic. Your mind is going to feel a bit uneasy, and you're going to have this urge and obviously desire to kind of keep doing that or check up on them. It's like, well, what if I do see the third party's gone, or whatever it might be? Those kind of thoughts will go through your mind, and it's just the old story kind of pushing back, fighting back, trying to stay holding on, squeezing on, the way, oh gosh, this is a terrible example, but the way Jack was in Titanic, like holding on for dear life, but only one person, only one story can fit on that piece of wood. And it is the new story. We're letting go of the old story. We're letting go of Jack. Sorry, Jack, bye. And, not holding on to that and replacing it with those positive habits. And it's going to feel a bit weird at first. You're going to have that desire to check up on them, or the old story will filter through a little bit in your conscious thoughts. Keep working through it. Keep persisting. Keep pushing back against that. It's totally normal. And as I said, it is just the old story. So you want to persist, keep repeating the new version, the new assumptions that they're chasing you. They want you. They're the ones initiating. You don't need to do anything like any physical action. Just keep focusing on your mindset, convincing yourself of your affirmations. It's kind of like a test from the old story and the 3D reality, but you ignore it. You don't engage with it. Just keep going. So remember that you are not chasing them or trying to force a change or making them change. You're letting them conform. You're letting them conform into your physical reality as the new version. The new version of them is what will be, because you have the old version currently. The new version of your specific person will be the one that shifts into your physical reality, into your physical experience. That's the behavior and treatment you're going to get. You need to persist in that. And when you get out of that chasing mode, they're going to come in, they're conforming, they're going to conform more and more because you've let go of those old thought patterns. You're no longer telling your mind, I don't have it yet, what can I do? Let me check, let me do this, let me do that. Instead of just knowing, they're conforming, they're going to be mine. So stay focused on that kind of mindset, keep working on it, because it's really going to bring in powerful movement and shifts for your manifestation. And I think I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed that, found it useful, and maybe got some extra, perspective on your specific person, because it can be easy to fall into the trap of the old story, especially at the beginning when you're just starting to work on this and change the way you think. But the more you focus on your own mindset and letting go of that chasing mode and the old story, the more your SP is going to come in and conform as the version you want, the one who is initiating, the one who's letting you know, this is me now and I want you, right? So yeah, do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, and I will see you guys next time.